Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm going to cover live Freestyle Chess Grand Slam Las Vegas. So in this game, we're looking at Vincent Keymer on the white end playing against Magnus Carlsen. 10+10 time control. This is start position 575. Before this game begins, players have 10 minutes to discuss. I'll just be spending a few minutes pointing some things out that I see from this arrangement. Keymer won the Weisenhaus event, Carlsen the next event in Paris, and now here they are playing early stages, round robin portion of Las Vegas. So with this arrangement, what do we have going on here? No unprotected pawns. These bishops grab my attention because they don't necessarily have to move to be productive, and they're not really getting in the way of any other pieces. So just a couple key pawn breaks. I imagine arrangement like this. I wouldn't be surprised to see f4 as a first move, helping the queen and the bishop. The queen frequently will do well to have many options very early on. She could be quite the disruptive piece. Also, where's the king going to go? I think what's most likely is castling left. So maybe this is a move. One of these two. I like this idea of tucking the knight behind. Knight here, queen, or I should be hesitant to say queenside or kingside castles. That may slip out from time to time. Castling left, I think, is what we might see. And in that case, the rook is going to be on the d file. So, tough to say exactly what the start is going to be. I am drawn to this one. I always like tucking the knights behind pawns. All right, we will see what we get. All right, we have liftoff just like that. And it is, in fact, f4. Carlsen on move. So I imagine he already anticipated this. Okay, so far symmetrical. G3 with then this one, or maybe a quick knight C3 with E4. Okay, G3 it is. Both bishops, clear view straight away. These points are both covered. Now, how energetic might black be? I mean, there might be sacrificial ideas with push, capture, knight B to C6, and if white tries to hang on to that, there's D6. We could see this position open up very quickly. Where's this knight going to go? It's a bit, maybe the most oddball piece. I could have said that before the game started, because they're sort of competing for that same square. So, oh, okay, that's a big move. Okay, interesting. So this square is weakened, but what piece is going to take advantage of that? How do you maneuver a knight there in a timely fashion? It's a long ways off. So black, we might say with that last move, holding up e4. How to handle that one? Okay, maybe d3 and then shoot for e4. Seems possible. You could develop the knight. Ask the pawn a question. That's also sensible. What's black's way to defend? If you play here, that's not so cool for the bishop on g8. Yeah, what is Carlsen's plan if the knight goes here? Maybe this one? Then this, and then here. Also putting the pawn on c6, where the knight's taking away that square from that piece. Not so sure. D3, E4. Yeah, one of these. I don't think there's time for this sort of maneuver. Also, black is not far off from controlling that with two pieces, a knight, a bishop. So there isn't time to put a piece into that square. Anything crazy happening with this one? Oh, okay. Wow. Very locked position, huh? Fixed pawns. early on. So this one, now you could see time for the maneuvering. You're going to see knights on these squares at some point. How to get there is the question. Carlsen probably angling for that, and we do see it. Knight f6 into e4, a very healthy square. We might not see an exchange for a bit. Where are the pawn breaks? And with this position so locked, we're looking at c4 or g4. Something Carlsen might shoot for is h6 and g5. If white is going for h3 and g4, there is some time lost. G pawn taking a second step. Carlsen might be able to get that particular break in a more efficient manner. Where to go now? Follow suit? Okay, similar idea, both angling for this square here on the squares on the E file. Clock situation, about a minute advantage there for Carlsen. After this round robin portion, it's bumped up to a much lengthier time control. So this is really one of the only formats to cover. 10 plus 10 is cool. 30 plus 30. It's pretty rough. So where do we go from here? No breaks in the center. I'd be very surprised. That would have to be there tactically. This is supported. There is a break with c5. It is weakening though. Very weakening. Okay. Just opens the bishop's eyes. Oh. Whoa, okay. We're seeing some there's a little glitch there for a second because it did go to g6. Okay, so he actually did go 2. All right, so I believe we sort of missed a move. I'm going to go back for a second. I believe the idea was after this capture, he was going to break in the center. So he does get in the g5 break in one swing. Forget about h6 and g5. g5 was already available. And there was a target as soon as that was there. So it was covered immediately with the knight move. So now we are looking at a bit more of a locked position and Carlsen with space. So this square here taken away. This is a big deal. This is the big difference with the pawns. And look at the impact this pawn is having on white's pieces compared to this one. Non-existent. This pawn doesn't do anything to restrict any of the black minor pieces, but what about this one? Oof, forget about f3. For a couple minors, a queen. So this knight doesn't have a clean path into this square here. All right. Probably don't want to see this pawn go any further. So just stop it cold. a5. Going to see an h3 break. We're running out of ways to find a break. What are these rooks going to do? They need a break. And where is that going to happen? c4 eventually prepped. h3. h3 is almost certainly going to be met with h5, although I could see a reason to... Okay, no, I was going to say this and then use the f5 square for the pieces, but as soon as you do that, white's going to be able to get in an e4 break right in the center. So I'm pretty sure after h3, h5 is going to be the response, asking white, now what? So I believe Carlsen has a little bit of an advantage in a way, structurally. One invasive pawn. And maybe the clocks are sort of telling us that as well. I don't have the evaluation bar. I've disabled that. Computer analysis as well. Just want to see this on my own. No hints. what's the move exactly? Okay, that's sensible. You angled for that e5 square, and now you are there. Maybe now this is being supported. Neither player has moved the e-pawn. Why is that? Interferes with the bishop. Dark square bishop. So you would like to see a capture. Probably take... Well, I could see it in either direction. Taking with the d-pawn opens this guy's eyes. And this square opens up. Okay. Yeah, you could put both knights here. Angle for that e4 square. I'm going to try and work around this piece. You don't want to allow a white pawn fixed in your house. It's going to be super disruptive and kind of kill this bishop. So neither bishop really doing a wonderful job in this position. They don't like this environment. Very locked. Where's our first exchange? We are 8 moves in. Only 6 minutes remaining for Keymer. 10-second increment though. What to come up with? Eventually, both knights could go there. A knight on e4. Where's the king going? Maybe you don't even castle. Yeah, castling, you demote the rook. The rook may want to, especially with the knight on this square, putting pressure on a5. All right, maybe we might start seeing a maneuver. So something like this. Pressure on that pawn. And you don't really have a convenient way to defend that pawn, do you? So this probably has Carlsen's attention. This plan right here. Okay. Rook on d1 for starters. Knight d6, rook d1. Okay. Clearly doesn't want to castle towards the h-file. No castling. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see castling here. Not until a much later stage. If at all. This seems more reasonable as we see some captures. Okay, this is a maneuver as well. I was pointing out this one. That might not be bad either. Be very curious to see how Carlsen would react to the pressure on a5. Because this here, you're dropping c6. It's an idea. Yeah, this might be more, this is looking more efficient. If you put the bishop there, you are getting in the way of a rook. This has opened up. Tough position. Very tough. Balancing out on the clock. Now, this knight is on a very good square, so a downside in capturing everything. You're not going to see capturing here. Too many very good squares open up. Too clogged. That kind of structure really, I kind of view it as killing so many black pieces on this in this area of the board. What is he going to come up with? Tricky. Maybe another way to view rook d1, the more I'm looking at it, is if the knight is on this square. Very good piece. If the bishop is on e1, in a way you're saying, all right, I got that knight's forward moves under control, and I see a little further. I am continually drawn to that point. Now, maybe an idea is to play here. I mean, he may have to do something like that shortly. King c7 to watch over this point. And then if there is pressure on this point, b6, would this be a move? This is not a move just yet. That'd be way too weakening, it seems. We're still fishing for that pawn break. This could be an idea, grabbing even more space, but I think there should be something more going on in the center. It is very cluttered. These pieces do not have a wide range of options. Not the dream position for the bishops. Carlsen in the tank here, so seems to indicate he's not so comfortable with his position, and maybe he doesn't see a wonderful response to this idea. Also, oh, the other detail. What am I saying about the bishop move? What about queen here? What's wrong with queen there straight away? Okay, first of all, this move was pinning the pawn, so there was a trick. Nice try. Nice try, queen. What more is she doing from h6? That's a very awkward move. What's his follow-up? The king just scoots over and says, now what do you got? I don't know why I was so fixated on this. Just the queen stepping over here. Okay, we have action. So, pressure on the knight. Any wonderful forward moves? No. Is this knight going to be swiped? And may have to. May have to swipe it. Queen here. There's the idea to take the knight and then take on a5. Oh, I'm seeing an additional point now. The queen from h6. Of course. Okay. Of course, there was another idea behind the queen there. She watches over c6. Let's not forget that. Okay. Queen d6 now. And the big bad plan is what? Knight takes, pawn takes, knight captures here, and I guess queen c7? I guess queen c7 would be the idea, and the knight, a struggling piece, does not have that square. You extend the scope of the bishop after the capture on c4. Very interesting game. Things are heating up. I'm missing something here. Boom, boom, boom. Queen c7 looks good for Carlsen. There's some other move there. I mean, b5? Wait a second. What am I talking about? Chop, chop, knight takes, just b6 straight away. And the knight is cooked. You don't have to play queen c7. All right, you're going to drop material if you go for that, as far as I could tell. What is he going to come up with? Okay. This could be a move at some point. Queen takes, pawn takes, Space Invader pawn number 2 arrives, b4, g4. All right, both players under 5 minutes now. All right, both knights hopping in. Support points. All right, maybe ready to extract the knight now. b3 comes to mind. There is a threat on d7, first things first. What are you doing about this threat? 13 moves in, not a single capture. Wow. Okay. Now the time to capture a piece? I don't like either capture. Maybe this one. You would almost not want to have the queen. You want the queen here in that position. Queen on this square. Let black capture, and then you chop away on this point, but there's a tempo now on the queen. Okay, finally our first capture. I guess this is going to be a follow-up to the rook. Already on an open file, I think. I think white is in a better position here. Okay, now we have queen e6. This cannot be maintained. Not seeing it. Got to take here. Black's ready to chop away. That'll be a disaster. Overwhelming position for Carlsen. Dropping a pawn trio shortly, so chop, chop. What's the follow-up? This bishop's eyes open up. Springs right to life. Capturing away from the center, e5 is the big square that comes to mind. Is this pawn irritating to black in any way? I'm really seeing it. It's not like it's around supporting a piece on b6. b6 as a whole. How do you take advantage of that? What other move is he considering in this position? Am I missing something? There's some wild e4 move? Wow. I mean, you're dropping material. The knight is attacked 3 times, defended once here. 3.5 minutes remaining for each, call it. I'm missing, okay, I guess I'm not missing a move. Okay, oh, wait a second. We have an e4 break coming up. e4 right now. Why did it take me to see this move before? Yeah, e4 now available. Okay, yeah, e4 played, and now okay, if you exchange queens, if you take with the queen, isn't black going to be able to get this move in? No, not quite. Chop, chop, bishop takes. If e5, there's f5. I think Carlsen is for choice here. I think we'll see queen captures. Queen captures. I could see it actually either way. Some other move, or you could maybe consider another move because this pawn is not going anyway or anywhere. I mean, is something elaborate like this an idea? Rook a3 to e3? Attacked twice, defended once. It can't be defended a second time. This might be... I mean, what is the rook going to do now that the position has opened up? There's no castling, keep in mind. I played king b1. So this might be what he is chewing on. He only has 2 minutes and change. Rook a3 to e3. Let it be the rook that recaptures. And whoa, this pawn right here is going to feel some pressure. Now this point... Okay, he does play rook a3. This point, however, is there going to be some pressure on that? The other detail, what about this sacrifice? c3. Before this rook swings over. Okay, I mean... Wow, you have to be careful. There's this battery as well after this push. Watch out for that a2 square. So if this here and then b3, ooh... Well, I would not at all be surprised to see an exchange sacrifice. In a position like, let's just make a passing move. This one here, c3, b3, and then chopping away there. Oh my goodness, there's castles. I forgot there's castles for Carlsen. You're not going through check. Your king stays put. It's just the rook that's moving. Wow. All right, that one caught me off guard. Castles it is. This pawn unprotected now, but things are clearly heating up in the center. Whoa, maybe this wasn't a good idea after all. All right, what do we do here? First exchange rooks and then play rook to e3? Where else is the rook going? That's really the only square you have in mind when you play rook a3. I'm saying initiate the exchange here. You do help the rook. You also don't want the queen pulled away from this point. Or maybe that is all right. Nah, I prefer keeping the queen here. Clock situation, 1 minute, 23 seconds. 17 moves in. Whoo! What's it going to be? This would be a blunder. Queen is overloaded in that position. Chop there, and then chop there, win a piece. Let us see. I'm going to go with rook captures. Rook here. c3, b3. I like the exchange sacrifice in that position. You have to watch out, actually, because, oof, after this advance is in there, there's a nice pivot on d2. Concerning. Very concerning. This break is very irritating. These two pawns, okay, there's so many invasive pawns in the position. If you just compare the c pawns, Carlsen's is more invasive. Clock situation, you better get a move in here. 20 seconds, 10-second increment. This break, very irritating in plenty of cases. This one, there's no break. 10 seconds? Oh no, are we having a... Is he really taking this long? Oh, there might be a delay. We might be getting a flood of moves. Okay, no. Played that move with just about 5 seconds. Rook e3 straight away. Keeping the queen right where she's at. So, Now what? What do we got? Trying to angle into this square. Let's say if these moves are included, how do you actually get there? Yeah, not so easy to get there, is it? C3, B3. C3, B3, rook exchange. Rook, D8. Rook to D2 to shield the pressure on C3 to hold up the exchange sacrifice idea. All right, what's going on here? Carlsen also has to come up with something. I know he has a bit of a decent lead on the clock, but things can collapse quickly. I mean, if there isn't going to be an attack on the white king, long-term issue here with the backward pawn. So I think Carlsen has to rely on some kind of dynamics. Stir up trouble in some way. So if we just have a quieter position, this pawn drops. This one's a target. I mean, this is the extra pawn currently. This is the real liability in the end. Doesn't seem to be a great way to get rid of it. E5, that seems like a nice response. Passed pawn, and then black's passed pawn will be blockaded. I guess the F pawn could be blockaded as well. What are we going to have here? Bishop moves. Bishop here, is that really doing a whole lot? No, just blundering stuff. Queen F6 threatens mate. So rather than this something? On that, what are we doing? Maybe a rook exchange and then queen C1. How about that? I guess you could play C3 as well. What's wrong with C3 given the chance? C3 is cool. Oh, you do have to watch over the D3 square. Carlsen in the tank, both players under a minute. Whoo! Okay, we do have the C3. C3, B3, now queen F6. Watch out for the pivot on this square, also preventing any exchange sacrifice idea. Okay. Now rook captures pawn. Bishop captures pawn. Oh, gotta watch out for tricks. Gotta watch out for tricks. Bishop captures pawn. Oh, clock situation? Okay, is there a tactic here? Chop, chop, push with check. King takes, queen here? Is that not working? Bishop captures B3. Pawn captures B3. C2 with the 4. King captures. Queen there is mate. Tactic alert. Working with this pawn. He's chewing on it. I'm pretty sure he's chewing on that one. Maybe, okay, he does play it. Bishop B3 and not the recapture. Instead, bishop here. Yeah, that was definitely a poison bishop. Okay, queen could capture here. Okay, there isn't going to be mate. This queen is covering everything. Is white losing a piece here? Rook under fire. These players living off of the increment. Bishop takes first. Oh, wow. Bishop takes bishop. You first capture the rook and then recapture. Oh, that's not fun having to pull this rook away. Okay, this point now. This queen is very good. She covers the king really well. I think white is coming out ahead here because of the queen position. Better queen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 body count. We're looking at balanced material. Better queen. This pawn can drop. Not the healthiest structure, to be sure. Also, this pawn, a problem. Major piece position only. Okay, this is a blunder. I was looking at that as a pivot. Yeah, rook right back in the ball game, and sure enough, same story with the other rook. Clock situation, neck and neck. Major pieces only. Where do we go? You want to go pawn hunting? Exchange your rook and take, or just take straight away? What's wrong with capturing straight away? Could see some at minimum a perpetual check idea available to white. That's how you know. That's one clue. Lets us know white has to be better here. Yeah, now you get to take with check. So can you win as white? That's what this one is coming down to. Here, follow up check. The king just sticks around on those two. You're not really going anywhere. The extra pawn white has, it's the C pawn. So I'm not seeing any passed pawns. And with this structure here, it's going to be tricky because as soon as you try to get active with the queen, okay, there we go. As soon as you try to get active with the queen, you're subjecting yourself to perpetual check ideas. There's no, you could pick up this king and put it wherever you want on the board, and there just is not a comfortable home. All it takes is a one active queen post, and she will find some activity. I'm thinking this is going to end up being a draw, even though white is up a half dead extra pawn. I don't even know. I mean, well, actually, is white better at this point? Is it going to get a pawn back? And you have to go for a check. Okay, the queen stays central. Yeah, queen stays central. We might be seeing a perpetual on this diagonal. Queen d8, a5. Queen captures pawn, queen captures pawn, queen captures g, check, check. Okay, the king may be hiding over here. Oh, going for a little bit more, are you? Oh, I mean, you could stay here defending, but you don't want to really be passive like this. The check, I don't know if there's a wonderful follow-up. Okay, queen just returns. Oh, that was another relay issue. Queen didn't really go to c3. It was b3. That's more sensible, targeting that pawn. Oh, maybe this is the repetition in the end. Yeah, keep putting pressure on these pawns. We might be seeing a peaceful result to a very interesting game. Let us see. It will populate half next to the names, I believe. Oh, still? He says play ball. Okay. Not so sure about this passive move. You are holding things together, but yeah, this queen. Now what? I want to push your luck. I mean, could this king get aggressive here? Okay. He's cool. He's cool right there. There's a support point. You have to get active? Might have to get active. Might need, okay, he's hiding here, so. Queen a5. Wow. Game on. We continue. What about queen here and then a follow-up check idea? Now, this would be a big deal. Ooh. If you drop that b pawn, then this a pawn is going to be super scary. Queen exchange? King here, king here. I think black runs out of moves first, and white will be able to establish a pawn here because there's 3 tempi. There's an a5, c3, c4. Okay, those moves came in really fast. What do we have here? Okay, queen b6 was played. Queen captures b, queen d4 check. All right, no extra pawn at this point now. Under 30 seconds. Carlsen just under 2. And now the king. You're not really in a wonderful position. Okay, back in the ball game. Queen check on c3 nearby. This can be a break and an ending. This is dangerous. You have to think we could easily. Okay, e5 is played. I was thinking this idea after a queen exchange, but you could play that straight away. How to recapture, queen recapture was check. Okay, gonna inch up here. Yeah, this king is out of position. A queen exchange is now favoring Carlsen. My goodness. And now he's ready to glue everything together. Queen, beautiful right in the center. Carlsen has to be the one favored now. Computer's probably still saying equal. keeping the queens on, but this is going to be tricky, I believe, because I think there might be some king walk in the future. Yes, although you do have to watch out for the forks. Easy to slip up here, especially with this little time remaining. All right, we have one check. There's a perpetual, maybe. I mean, blocking with the queen. Are you comfortable with that king position? You're 100% not going to be better. Sort of just maybe you're there in time to box out the black king. Good idea to keep the queens on as white with the king out of position for a king and pawn ending. So perpetual check. Is there more? Is the question. That is what he is considering. Now there's a bunch of different checks for the white queen. This pawn can easily drop if the queen is not around defending. Round and round we go. Some more checks in the air. Is there more? Maybe c5. 2 base points covered and then go for a walk. Seems sensible. c5 check. Okay, c5 played. Everything coordinated now. King out of position. Not fun for Keymer. Not seeing a perpetual check. Maybe. Okay, this one here, this is a follow-up check to prevent king e4. If the king gets to e4, you're really asking for trouble. Because then the king starts to hide over here. Okay, where did he go? He came in really fast there. Okay, we had a check, king e6. Another check on g8. Perpetual? How does the king hide? Oh, the check on this square, if there was the check on that square, there was pressure here. It didn't allow king to f5. Okay, he's going around this pawn. What a game. What a game this one is. We're at move 52. Wow. I'm going to sneak around like this. There's got to be perpetuals. Are there any ways to slip up? Making ones. Okay, now that the king is over here, this pawn can drop easily. Don't get too active, queen. Like this one, there you go. h5 falls. Offer of a queen exchange. There's a check here, and the king is going to fly towards the center, towards the f file. Okay, we have that check. I believe you could go for the queen exchange here, and it'll be a draw with the pawns position like that. I think on the check, the king would move. It would be much different if you end up with pawns on the c, both pawns on the c file, and the king and pawn ending. That, I believe, is much closer to winning for black than white. King, again, out of position in these king and pawn endings. But that was a different arrangement. Alrighty. One check. This one was covered. Okay. Don't go here. Check on a7. Anything fancy with a pawn move? One day, it'd have to be forceful with check, but I'm not seeing any tricks. There's no coordination with the queen. I mean, there's this one square in b3. All right, you got two options. Where are you going? King b5, king b4. What's the difference? I guess king here. Okay, king there. Okay, you have to be a bit careful. Oh, a bit careful here because king c3, queen check, queen captures pawn. You have to be in a spot, I think, to handle a king on c3. My goodness, 40 seconds. So queen here might be a requirement. If you check here, king there, okay, there's a check over there. Yeah, I think this one here and then a check on a5. I don't think you want this king keeping pressure on this pawn for any amount of time, really. Needs to be flushed away straight away. Queen b6, king c3, queen a5. Oh, the king takes a step over. I didn't see that one coming. Okay, that's a slick way to stop the queen from entering. A simple way. Just wasn't crossing my mind. I was still fixated on the checking routine that we've been seeing these last dozen moves. Dozen or more. They continue to live off the increment. Move 58. Marathon game. Wasn't this a 10 plus 10? Yo! Okay, so much for me thinking this would be a 25-minute or so game. 25 minute, 40-minute plus. All right, let us see. Check on b6. Still, any mating ideas? Any mates? Check here for the black. White on move. So check here, here. This is a pivot as well. Okay, it's nearly mate. Nearly mate. It's one square. King d4, that's all you need though. Okay, checking over here. Yeah, she has a wide range of options, doesn't she? Yes. Okay. Careful now. Careful now. I was talking about this earlier with the king pivoting on e4 and drifting towards these pawns. Oh, can slip up here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so... Okay, if the king went there, I believe there was a check and c5 would fall. Can you exchange queens? No. Guess not. Whew, there's a check on d2. King f3? Oh, man. This is trouble. This is trouble. Yeah, you step over. Oh, you had to watch out for mate. My goodness, queen a1 was a move. Wow. What do you do here? Pawn inching forward. Now there are mating ideas with the pawn and the queen. Establish the pawn here. Check, check. Oh, man. Space Invader pawns, 10 seconds for Keymer. Queen b4, pressure on the pawn. c3? c3. And then this. c3. I was talking earlier, the queen on this position defending c5, h5. She's cool here defending c3 and h5. How do you break that position down? I'm not seeing it. There's no perpetual. This king's going to vacuum up these pawns. And there's mating ideas. This pawn can fall. I think this must be winning for Carlsen. Wow, what a wizard. Oh, man. No idea how you defend this. Queen there. Queen b5. Okay. Yeah, cleaning up phase, I believe. You could take queen check, king there. Yeah, you hide. Another check, you're dropping this pawn. Good luck. If there's a perpetual here, okay, maybe the computer comes up with the perpetual. I'm not seeing that, though. For a human, it's almost an impossible task. Coming up with the perpetual, I believe. Queen takes. No perpetual. Check here. There's a check there. Okay, there you go. That's everything. Okay, there's a check there, here, here. Yeah, everything's... look at how the pawns and the queen will end up sheltering the king. You could afford to give up this pawn because these ones are just too good. Might be seeing a resigner shortly. Check there, follow-up check. Okay, no, probably not a resigner just yet. Play ball. Okay, oh, this queen is so well positioned. Look how she stops all the checks. And then it's a slow and steady approach. Yeah, you're winning the race. This one, forget about that. Oh, you could play that as well. The queen just watching over the pawn. She's too good. She is so good right here on f3. King there, no good follow-up check. You don't even need to play with this pawn. That's what he's saying. Wow. What a game. Okay, watch out for this check. Careful, careful, careful. Yeah, I liked having that pawn kind of a little closer to the king. There is one little gap there on h5. Move 75 of this one. Yo. My goodness. And if you push, check there, check. Okay, I guess we're going to see this. Try. Queen gets to block. Follow-up check, queen here. Yep, simple enough. And we have a resigner. Finally. Wow. That was one wild game. Gotta say, that had a lot to it. My goodness. Whew. Okay. I am going to stop there. What an interesting one. Position 575 for this one. Okay. Wasn't expecting such a lengthy game from a 10+10 time control, but that's what we got with this one. Anyhow, feel free to share your thoughts on this. Leave any feedback in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.